Not my favorite coach, but I think he's more than capable. I kind of put him in the Pete Carroll thing. I think sometimes they're a bit outdated with offense and offensive coordinators and offensive line, but they're both like Hall of Fame votes. I'd have no problem Mike Tomlin, Pete Carroll getting into the Hall of Fame, but the world's changed. Football culture's changed. It's very offensive. The rules have changed. Sometimes I feel a little outdated on offense, but whatevs. But what's interesting is when you watch Mike Tomlin on this Justin Fields situation. So, by the way, Russell Wilson, and I think this is reasonable to say, there's a little maintenance with Russell. And Russell came there to be quarterback one, and now Justin Fields is on a heater. And when everybody's pressing Mike Tomlin, he's just saying, his quote yesterday is, there's no need to name Justin Fields as quarterback one. The guy's 3-0, leads his division, best he's ever played, 73% completion percentage. And Mike Tomlin's like, so what? You couldn't do that elsewhere. There are 3 organizations in America that always empower the coach. Miami with Eric Spoelstra, San Antonio with Greg Popovich, and the Steelers with Bill Cowher and now Mike Tomlin. That's it. What about Steve Kerr? Hey, Steve Kerr has to massage Kevin Durant, Draymond Green. Steve Kerr, he doesn't have total control. He has that locker room. Steph runs that organization. But what happens is Mike Tomlin doesn't have to tell the players what they want to hear. Well, Colin, LeBron left Miami. Colin, Kawhi Leonard. Yeah, he left San Antonio. Yeah, and those 2 players are now on lousy rosters. And by the way, the Heat and the Spurs have 8 titles between the 2. How's your franchise doing? The Lakers aren't sniffing a franchise championship in a long time. And by the way, Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers, they underachieve every year. I think the Spurs with Wemby going forward are going to have a great decade. And I think the Miami Heat, by the way, LeBron gave Spoelstra crap. And why did he leave? Because Spoelstra and Pat Riley were in lockstep. He's like, so what? Bye, see ya. So, and Mike Tomlin.
I just want to I'm going to let this clip play, but this is a little weird because, one, Kawhi keeps getting injured and all of that, so his career has never really been able to be consistent, unfortunately. And he did leave, and he won a ring with Toronto. And then LeBron James left Miami and also ended up winning 2 rings. Could have been multiple if it wasn't for the juggernaut of the Golden State Warriors. So that point is, I don't even understand. I don't even understand like who's like challenging that either. So this whole thing is just kind of confusing me from the jump. I'll be completely honest. I'm just curious right off the bat, like Pittsburgh Steelers fans, like what does this mean to you right now so far?
Pittsburgh, you've got like a quarterback dilemma. The quarterback one, the star, is now sitting behind a kid who struggled in Pittsburgh, and Justin Fields is humming. I never thought he'd be this accurate. See the field like this. And it's like Tomlin's like, yeah, we'll figure it out when it happens. And there's nothing you can do. And, I mean, last year, think about this. The Steelers have had 3 head coaches in 55 years. The Carolina Panthers have had 3 in 48 months. It's not a coincidence. I looked it up this morning. The most head coaches last 30 years. Raiders 15, Dolphins, Browns 13, Lions 12. Do you think it's a coincidence those teams are like second-tier teams until Detroit the last 2 years? The rest of those teams, it's always a circus. You think that's a coincidence? So it is Mike Tomlin, my favorite coach. No, Pete Carroll wasn't at the end, or Belichick, my favorite coach, because the world has changed, the culture's changed. But they're 3-0. He's always emboldened. He's always empowered. And this Pittsburgh media, give the media credit in Pittsburgh. They're not giving him a pass. They're pressing him on this every single day. And he doesn't waver, and he said it 6 times, and he doesn't care, and he's 3-0, and they're going to go 4-0. And again, some of these defensive coaches can drive me nuts. Like Buffalo finally has a run game 7 years in. But I will say this, is Miami Heat, San Antonio Spurs, Pittsburgh Steelers, they're never in chaos. When they're down, it's brief. They bounce back up again, and Cleveland doesn't. And the Raiders, when's the last time the Raiders were good? Or the Browns were consistently good? Or the Dolphins were consistently good? I mean, what decade was that? There is, in a world where players make more and have more power and scrub their IG every time they get their feelings hurt. There is an argument to empower the coach. Even if he's not your favorite coach, empower the coach. Here are the Steelers once again in first place with Mike Tomlin.
Okay. This one is an interesting segment. One, the San Antonio Spurs have been awful for years with Pop now that everyone left him, and he got really, really lucky that he then got Wembanyama in his lap. You know, they got Wembanyama because they were at the bottom, right? So let's be just clear about that. And I know Pittsburgh Steelers fans don't care about that, but anyone who maybe is not a Pittsburgh Steelers fan and just watching these clips for fun, like those comparisons just are not landing to me. And usually Colin's comparisons and analogies really make a lot of sense to me. This one just doesn't. I honestly, like it actually really doesn't. I was really kind of the examples and the logic behind it, I just don't know if I fully agree with. But what I do agree with what Colin is saying and what I like about Tomlin, because I agree too. Tomlin's not one of my favorite coaches. I am a fan of more progressive current offensive coaches. And I know Pittsburgh Steelers fans absolutely positively love Mike Tomlin. They love the defensive culture. They love it. And I do really respect how the Pittsburgh Steelers run their organization. I spent some time living in Pittsburgh, and so I'm very familiar with the people there. And I know they just eat, sleep, and dream football. It's Steelers everywhere. They don't have a big basketball culture. They have the Pittsburgh Pirates, but it's just, it's baseball, hits a little differently. It's really the whole city behind the Steelers, and it's just Mike Tomlin, I think, represents it's very similar to Philly. Like Pittsburgh is a very working class city, hardworking city. It can get cold and windy. It's always like moist there. It's always like a wetness in the air, a ton of cloudy days. They have one of the highest cloudy days in the United States. And I think with Mike Tomlin, you can respect it, right? Like I remember watching Mike Tomlin talking to Pittsburgh Steelers, for that matter, talking when I was living in Pittsburgh, working at, in a parking garage in the city, like in the true city. And it was like this rundown, dirty little office that I'm sitting in, like waiting for like cars to come in and stuff like that, watching it on a tiny little TV. And you got Mike Tomlin, just barking up a storm, just inciting, excitement and pride and energy and inspiration. And you're just like, I was young at the time, and I'm just like, yeah, okay. You're just like kind of watching. I got my work, making like, nothing an hour, and you like hear him talking, firing everyone up. And, you're just like, yeah, okay. Right. Yeah. Interesting. Right. Like, it's just, he inspires people more than anything. And he doesn't there's a lot of words that I want to say that I tried not to say on this channel. But he takes, no blank from anyone, right? And it is something that's encouraging. And so they're right, this idea that he has to name a starter, he has to concede to the media or what people want him to say, and he's just like, no need. Like, why? Don't tell me what to do in this situation. Like, why are you trying to complicate things right now? We're 3-0. What do you want me to say? You want me to wear a t-shirt that says Justin Fields is the starter for the next 10 years of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Like, is that what you want me to do? I'm not going to do it. Like, just stop. We're 3-0. We've won a few tough games, right? Like, just stop. We're going. What we're doing is what we're doing. And on the one side, I really, really respect it. I love it. And it's who you want as your coach. And even if you're a fan of the team. On the other side, and this is where I'm going to, be a little different, and hopefully you can understand what I'm saying. I just praised Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers, so don't get too angry. I'm a firm believer in that this is an entertainment company, that the fans are owed all this information. We just are. This is an entertainment company. We're meant to have our questions answered. Not every single thing. It has to be within reason, but we are meant to have meant to have these coaches, players, whatever, talk to the media, because when they talk to the media, they're talking to us, right? That's what the purpose is. Especially nowadays that everything is live and recorded and all this. So it's no longer like just the media writing articles and stuff like that. Like, we get to see the answers now. And that's what I hate about Popovich, right? Like, not giving any answers, and Bill Belichick, like, the fact that the NFL or the NBA, for that matter, ever allowed that to be a thing, I think is awful. That's a slap in the face of the fans. And they're just like, oh, that's just Bill being Bill. No, say, Bill, this is part of your job. Your job is to answer questions. Your job is to actually give legitimate answers and not little 3-word sentences. That's not the way this works. This is an entertainment company. You're now talking to the media, aka the fans, and you owe them answers. That's the way it works. You get paid millions upon millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of dollars to not only win and be on the field and do all of that stuff, but it's also to entertain, because it's not always just about winning. I say this all the time. People think it's just all about winning and it's all about play. That's not what it's about. If it was, then the WNBA would be wildly popular. Everybody would be wearing an Asia Wilson shirt right now. And they don't, okay? They don't. It's not just about winning. It's about entertainment. It's about connection to the fans. It's content. That's what it's all about. It's an entertainment company. And so I'm not saying that Mike Tomlin is Bill Belichick in that regard. I'm not saying that. And I'm not even saying that he needs to give an answer. But I'm just kind of like, springboarding off of what Colin was was kind of comparing about like these coaches being empowered to kind of like say or do whatever they want. So I respect it. I would like more information. But in this situation, I'm like so on the fence because like I don't think I really even need that question answered right now. It's one thing if Russell Wilson was 100% ready to play, right? And then it was like, well, is Justin Fields the starter right now? What's going on? But like people are so obsessed, right? And I get it because they're just like Russell Wilson, when he's healthy, is he gonna start? Is he gonna start? And it's like they're 3-0 with Justin Fields right now, and Russell Wilson is not ready to go. At least not to my knowledge. Maybe that has changed recently. And so I'm just not sure why the question is so important right now. And so it's just it's a very specific situation. It's not like they paid. I can understand if they paid like $30 million for Russell Wilson, or any kind of like true lump sum of money, anywhere between like, I don't know, 15 to 60 million, right? That's what these quarterbacks are going for now. I could understand being like, hey, they spent this money, what's the story here? And then I could understand like owing an answer. But the truth is they got Russell Wilson for like nothing. And so to me right now, I understand Russell Wilson is popular, relatively speaking to other positions and stuff. But it's just kind of like naming like a random running back, a random lineman, and saying, is this guy going to play? Is he going to play? And it's like, listen, I understand it's a quarterback position. It's a little bit more heightened. Russell Wilson obviously has more weight behind him. But right now, Russell Wilson at this point in his career, if you didn't know anything about his history, there would be no actual questions about, is he going to play? Is he going to play? So like, I'm not going to answer right now. Like, just settle down and stop. We got Justin Fields right now. We're rolling. Things are going really well. You're not going to like get me to say something that's going to stir up controversy, because then if I say yes, Justin Fields is the starter, then everyone's like, what does this mean for Russell Wilson? Did the Pittsburgh Steelers do wrong to Russell Wilson? Yada yada yada. And if he says no, Russell Wilson is going to be the starter when he's healthy, then it's going to be like, what message are you sending that to the locker room? What message are you sending to Justin Fields? Justin Fields then feels that he's going to need to do even more than what he's doing, and he's going to have to go beyond the system and beyond the game plan of what's laid out for him. So it no matter what the answer is, it just gets messy. And the media loves messy, right? It's content, it's entertainment, it's controversy, right? The media's favorite thing is quarterback controversy, right? Like that just gives them so much content, so much things, and everyone gets to debate, should this guy start? Should this guy start? If they start this guy, what should they do with this guy, right? Like it's just content. And I do respect Mike Tomlin for just being like, I'm not going to give it to you. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers? And do you think as Colin was talking about, that the continuity creates their winning culture? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.